What is up, lads? Today we're taking a look at some of the best champions right now in gold, silver and bronze. We're going to look at 5 of the best ones and then 5 that are doing really well over in career to give you an idea of extra things you could play, some you might not have expected. These are some of your comments from my last best champions video, and if we could hit 5,000 ratings on this video, it would be awesome. Like it if you did, and if you didn't, hit that dislike. Thanks again to the guys over at Pro Guides for helping me to edit this video. You can check them out down below, but let's jump into our jungle picks for this patch. Amumu has made a real comfortable little home in lower elo, especially recently he's been spanking people in these games. I don't normally like pointing out picks I think are obvious, but when Amumu has one of the highest win rates in bronze, silver and gold, I don't think I can really ignore the little guy. He's really good in this meta anyway, like his teamfight is incredible and his ganks are actually okay as well. The thing we're really looking at, especially here, is like from what I've seen, ranked games tend to be a bloodbath, just a little bit, okay? Like people really enjoy killing each other. That means we need some early gank pressure, but we also need some good mid to late game to close out the game when team fights roll around. Now Amumu fits this whole thing perfectly. He's easy to play, high impact, and just, I don't know, I think he's tanky. He does loads of damage and it's not that hard to do well with him, which is very important. I am not, by the way, saying go full AP. That's not a good thing, okay? But some AP is a good thing to carry a little bit harder. The way I think of it, right, if your team is doing really well, then tanky is good. Just let them carry. If they're doing all right, then a mix might be good, and if they all suck, then just AP and try to kill stuff yourself. Skarner is a not so known jungler at this patch, especially at like gold and silver. This guy is doing really well. He's tanky, doesn't die very easily, and has some good damage with just an Iceborne Gauntlet. The major thing from what I've seen is just his ultimate. Even in a losing game, he can flash ult someone and pull them back, instantly turning a fight around. I don't think people really respect the fact that he can stun. He has good damage and he can flash onto you quite easily, which leads him to be a really difficult pick to deal with. For our AD, we're going to look at Sivir. She's doing really well right now, actually, at every elo. At lower rank specifically, AD carries really do not tend to have the greatest win rate. That's one thing I've noticed. Well, that's except for Sivir. She actually does, and I think there are 2 big reasons. A lot of lower elo picks revolve around how difficult they are to play against, and Sivir is actually quite hard. She just pushes constantly. You'll take damage from a W if you try to push against her, and you'll spend the entire lane phase under your tower. Like, honestly, I find it kind of hard to play against her as an AD main for 2 years. The best way is to go aggressive and kill her, but that's not the easiest without some synergy with your support or them actually doing something instead of just playing with themselves under tower. Anyway, the other half is her ultimate. You can catch people constantly when you're grouped and just snowball a game. From the replays that I've looked at, engages tend to be a little bit awkward, kinda. Like one person will go, but the others won't. Whereas with a Sivir ult, like that's such an obvious sign to go, and most people do actually follow it. It's kind of surprising really, but Kog'Maw is doing well right now at lower ranks in Korea especially, but even in EU and NA too. He did get a big nerf to his lane phase, but as we said earlier, games tend to be bloodbaths really, and it gives us time to get into the game. Once we do get past the early stages of the game, we're still this guy who just sits still and right clicks to kill everyone. He does a lot of mixed damage, which means he's hard to build against, he's hard to kill anyway, and does so much damage, which makes him really good right now as long as you don't get slapped about too hard early. So top lane is next up, and we could go for someone obvious like Garen, but instead we're going to go for Volibear. He sits in a pretty solid top 10 place in bronze, silver and gold for win rate, which is pretty good. Top 10's not that bad. If you think about the other top laners we face, like tanks we can get through pretty well. We're a tank with a bunch of damage, but carry laners struggle against us because we're building tanky and killing them. Think about it, okay? We get to mitigate their damage with armor or health or whatever, so they don't do as much damage to us, but we do more because our bite scale with total health. Plus then we have our passive heals, so they have to do even more to kill us. People will not expect how much damage you can do. You can engage well with your flip, you do area damage with your ult. I think he's actually quite a forgiving pick, which is also really good. Like you get caught and you take a while to die. This guy can be amazing in the jungle, but I think it's less known how strong he is top. So good old Pantheon did get slapped with the old nerf bat this patch, and his win rate has dropped a lot at lower ranks in EU and NA. In Korea he's still doing really well though, and at higher elo in EU and NA he's doing well, so I'm not entirely sure what happened. People jump in on the AD carry, they try to one shot and it doesn't work. That was kind of what the Panth nerf was aimed at. We have to play a little bit smarter. We max our Q now in lane and poke before we jump in. Instead of just kind of waiting for late game, we should really be using our ultimate to roam around too. Just ult to other lanes and kill people. That is the idea now. So mid lane is next up, and I know I've spoken about Ahri a lot in the past, but she is really good at lower ranks. It's actually the same in career. Ahri is a really good champion, and it's mainly because she is so well rounded. You can climb reliably with her, and she's very forgiving. Mistakes often won't cost your life where they normally would have. Her lane phase is good. She has a good push, so often won't be forced under tower, and her ultimate can either give you kills or stop you dying if you mess up or get ganked. She's also amazing for this kind of like chaos, kill everything style of game, I guess. She can get to fights easily with her ult, she can survive, dash around, kill people with her damage. She has kind of everything you want to have in small fights. Now, not dying, being safe and forgiving with mistakes is great, right? But ultimately, we need to kill things. Ahri is great at that too. Like when the game rolls into team fights, we have good burst and good sustained damage. You can't really go wrong with her. The thing is, okay, you're always learning in this game. Everyone is, and most of the time you learn from mistakes. Basically, Ahri means you can learn, you get better, but you don't lose as much because of your mistakes. This is kind of interesting. Okay, well, I say interesting, I'm a bit of a nerd, but Fizz doesn't have the best win rate in EU or NA until like plat level, but in career, he's one of the best mid laners. It's kind of a different style. You can get screwed early, but at the same time, you only really need like one item before you can kill people, and that's just so good. Just one item. Even if you're behind, you just need one item, and then you can run around and catch people with your big old fish, hop on them, and net yourself some gold. Logically, like Fizz suits this fight a lot playstyle perfectly, and I think he's an amazing pick for lower ranks if you can get to grips with him and survive the lane phase. So yeah, sorry lads, but support did end up being last again this patch. So Blitzcrank is actually like wrecking solo queue in every region right now. He is doing a lot better at gold and higher, but he's still doing well in bronze and silver. It's like a two-sided coin, right? Like on one hand, it's the Blitz should be worse at hitting hooks, but on the other side, people you're against should be worse at dodging them. I have no idea if that evens out. You tell me, but I mean, if it works, right? And there is nobody better at getting kills and making picks as Blitzcrank. I genuinely 100% believe that you can solo carry a game as Blitz. He's one of the few supports who can turn a game around or seal the deal when you're ahead. In lane, you're going to feed your AD carry kills, you set up ganks, mid game you catch people, hook them over walls. There are just so many ways to make a game easier for your team. It is very reliant on hitting your hook, right? If you miss them, you are useless, but some practice and some can-do attitude will win you games. That was so cheesy even for me. For our other one, we're looking at Alistar. He's not considered to be as strong as he used to be, but career is playing him so much right now. He's actually close to where Blitz is at the moment. He is again an aggressive support who can really do some work, but he can kind of fall back onto his heal and help his AD survive that way. I think Ali is definitely one of the more flexible supports. Big impact, safe, and can set up a lot of kills, which is what we want to do, right? Kill stuff. Also, if you get caught, you have your ultimate and you can just kind of use that and run away or turn around and fight. That is a great thing to have. So thank you for watching this video. Remember to like and comment. Thank you again to Pro Guides for throwing this together for me. You can check their site or YouTube out for some more lovely content. Anyway, subscribe here, share, comment, like or dislike, and as always, let's end it with the robots.